Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to Friday, March 29th. I'm feeling a little bit hairy today. I didn't trim up. I got stuff going on. I feel like a hot mess today. It's been a busy week. So you guys get me in hot mess form. How you guys doing? Welcome to Friday. Hope you guys are ready for a good weekend. It's been a good weekend here. We are going to answer your questions. So if you are new here, don't hesitate to post up your questions. I'm here to help. There are no old questions, no dumb questions, no stupid questions, just awkward questions and questions you probably shouldn't have asked. Just kidding. If you feel like your question's been asked 1,000 times before, feel free to post it up. That's what I'm here for. Now, before we get into things, if you are late to the party and checking this out after it is done, you can head over to my Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide into my DM. I answer every question. Or you can email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. So how was everybody's week? I'm freezing down here. My heater's unplugged. I forgot to plug it in, and I might freeze to death during Massive Iron Live. It hasn't been the best week of training for me, but going to try to get on track this week. Missed a couple workouts this week. Work has been extremely busy. Got a lot of things going on. Working on my book. We're working on our coaching app. A lot of different projects in the mix. Before I forget, and before we dive into your questions, at my website, Super Living Today, right up there. If you search, you go to the search button, search $6.99. Now through March 31st, I'm running a $6.99 coaching special. It's the last time I'm going to be running that $6.99 yearly special. Existing clients, don't panic. Your rates are never going to go up. Your rates are never going to go up. That's just the last time I'm going to offer a year of coaching for $6.99. So about 80% of the people that take advantage of it are existing clients. But if you are interested, you can head over there, search $6.99. Okay. And if you have more questions, you can email me. Now you can join teammassiveiron.com. You only have to bench 405 pounds to join. teammassiveiron.com. All right, let's get into things, shall we? Let's get into things. What's going on? Let's see who's here. Assassin from Team Massive. Hey, Steve, your favorite assassin loves you. That goes both ways. I appreciate your support as always. Always good to see you guys from Team Massive. Big Daniel. Hey, Steve, Team Massive member here. Let me just move my glass. This is my super humongous new glass. Asked about bulking and cutting before, and should the goal weight of your cut be the same? Not always. Depends on where you start, and when you're going through bulking and cutting cycles, basically the starting point is to do a 10-pound bulk and then a 10-pound cut. That way we don't get too far away from home base. And it's a little bit of an easy test for us, right? We don't get too far away from home. The best starting point is to gain 10 pounds and then lose 10 pounds and repeat that. Now, during this process, things are going to change or evolve. You could do a bulk. You could do your second bulk. And when you're about 8 pounds in your cut or whatever, you realize, hey, I look pretty darn sexy. I'm going to stop here. And I'm going to start the bulking process from there. So you can 100% adjust things. We are more after how we look in the mirror. That's really the critical thing. So don't be too overly concerned with, the number on the scale. We want to just focus on how we look, and we want to be able from that point to be able to gain 10 or 15 pounds or however many we want to bulk without feeling fat. Does that make sense? All right, big Trendy Powers. All kinds of trenbolone sandwiches. What are your thoughts on building up to a top set or top and back off set using slightly less weight? That's what we do in the Massive Iron world. That's called the 2s or 3s protocol. You basically work up to a set where you're doing anywhere from 5 to 8 reps. and then we back down the second set about 10%. So I'm a big fan of that. I think it's a wise way to train. It's not the only way to train. There are a million ways to train, a million ways to set up your set structure. But when you drop down in weight after that higher set, it's going to feel lighter. You're going to have a central nervous system boost, okay? So you get kind of a mental and physical boost. If you try to do your heavy sets last, you certainly can. You just have to be extra careful because you're going to be semi-fatigued heading into your heaviest work, which is kind of bass-ackwards with how I like to do it. If you like to do it that way, fine. You just have to be extra cautious. I do not like to do it that way, okay? Jeremy, Steve, you're putting out a new and large set of books. Yep, I've been talking about that every week. That just shows you, Jeremy, you need to stick around. I'm just kidding. No, I've been talking about it a lot. I've been working on my new book. It's going to be probably a series of books. It's probably going to be at least 200,000 words. It's up to about 25,000 words right now. So thank you for asking. And I'm working on it. I'm hoping to have it done by June. Let's hope. Yvonne, good morning, Yvonne. Thanks for tuning in. And Stein. Carlton, good morning from the road, and good morning, Team Massive. Thanks for tuning in and safe driving. Would you say that direct abs, lower back training, have much carryover to big lifts? No, no, not much. It's going to depend on the individual, but generally not much, no. I mean, you want a base level of core strength. I'm not against maintaining a base level of lower back and ab strength. You want a basic level of stability, but it's not going to carry over much, you know. I mean, basically, if you can get to planks or rolling or shoulder tap planks. If you're bored with planks, you can do shoulder tap, which is like 1, 2. You can count up to 50. You can do ab wheel rollouts. If you can do a couple sets of shoulder tap planks, a couple sets of ab wheel rollouts, and you're pretty solid with them, that's really all the ab strength you'll ever need. Lower back strength is a different beast. It's not quite as simple as that. You're going to have to take some time acclimating to the lifts. You're going to have to work on form. You're going to have to give that lower back some time to strengthen, because the lower back is often the weak area of the squats and deadlifts. Meaning if you're in a set on squats and deads and you're working on those reps, the lower back is usually the weaker, if not the weakest muscle group in that mix. And when you are deeper into a set, it's likely that it's going to be the one that is more fatigued or gets fatigued first. Does that make sense? So with lower back, you have to give it a little bit more time. Sabre, where'd you go? I clicked on you. Oh, we have a heart. I'm looking at stuff. We have a orange monster, pink poop. Thank you. All right, what do we got here? Hey, what do you think about incline bench with leg curl and hamstring extension attachments? I've had an adjustable bench. One of the first benches I had for the home gym had a leg curl and hamstring and leg extension attachment. You really have to do your research, because did it work? Yes. Was it the best thing I ever owned? No. It was a little bit ganky. It was a little bit wobbly. I loved it as much as I hated it. The price was right. It was functional. But understand that a lot of these things, when you connect it, you're probably not going to be completely satisfied, but you will get some mileage out of them. Does that make sense? Big Tim, how's it going, Tim? Happy Friday. Been using a more powerlifter-esque form on bench. Okay. Thinking of using a more hypertrophy-focused form. There's really no need at all for working sets on bench to complicate things. All we're really focused on is control and tightness, okay? There's no benefit for hypertrophy bench in getting a super arch and leg drive. It's quite the opposite. It can be distracting. Now, this can be triggering to some people, but please take time to understand what I'm saying here. If you are a competitor and you need to work on pause, you want to work on tightness, and maybe you want that little extra push to hopefully help you get that 1 to 2 extra pounds out of your bench, great. But for working bench, all you need to do is be tight and control. There is no benefit from hypertrophy to try setting up with a super arch. If anything, it can be harder to maintain. You're going to experience some upper back fatigue or lat fatigue trying to maintain that degree of tightness. There's always somebody that wants to argue with me in the comments. And look, if you like the bench like that, go ahead. There's always somebody that's like, if you pack the lats and do this and X, Y, and Z and paper, the formula says, and like, yeah, it's bullshit. It is bullshit. It really is. If it feels good for you, do it. But it provides no hypertrophy benefit. And I don't know from personal experience that trying to hold some super arch and some super degree of tightness and focus on leg drive, that becomes your main focus during a bench set, a prolonged bench set. And when you're doing a hypertrophy bench, we want to be able to focus on control and tightness. We want to be focused on the long run. And doing something like this, over-focusing on arch and leg drive, it just tends to be more of a distraction or hindrance. Thoughts on low incline barbell bench? That is an incline barbell bench. So I think you put it as a primary chest builder, but I want to clarify that on an incline bench, you want it about 20 degrees. You don't want it 45 degrees, right? You want it just about at 20-ish. And every gym is going to be different. Every piece of equipment, every bench is going to be a little bit different because you don't always actually have lifters designing these things, right? You can have a bunch of knuckleheads that don't even lift designing benches. So we have to work with what we have, right? And there's going to be some variance. You might be stuck at 30 or 35% in a gym. It's a good exercise. If your incline is closer to 30, 35, or 40 or 45, I probably wouldn't make it my primary chest builder. If you can maintain 20, 25 degrees, then I think that's okay. But we don't want to get too steep, right? We don't want to get too erect. Watch it. We don't want to get too erect during incline bench. We're talking incline bench. Don't get excited just because I said the word erect. We don't want to get too erect on our incline bench. Okay? Because then we're starting to get into overhead, side delts, front, way too much focus on front delts. Does that make sense? Just a little adult humor for those, well, an attempt at humor. Do you like a narrow or wide grip for T-bar? I like both. I like to alternate between both. I find on the lat pull down, I like the V-bar handle and I like the wide grip. I find on T-bars on T-bars, I have a T-bar set up right here. I like the close grip and I like the wide grip. Same thing for seated cable rows. I like the V-bar and I like the parallel grip, wide grip. You don't have to use both, but understand on any of these lifts, you can alternate every other week between a narrow and a wider grip on any of these lifts, and you're perfectly fine. Excuse me. What's the explanation of building a top set and then doing drop-off sets? What's the purpose? The purpose is to build muscle. I'm being facetious, but it is. I explained this a little bit earlier. First off, I don't want you guys to overthink this stuff, right? It is a solid way. We do that using the threes protocol. It is not the only way I train folks. But when you are on a big lift and you start with the heaviest lift and then you drop down in weight, your central nervous system is going to be really stimulated, really engaged. And when you move to that lighter weight, it's going to physically feel lighter because your central nervous system is really helping to recruit a maximal amount of muscle fibers. And plus, you're going to get a mental boost, right? I just did this really intense set. Now I get a mental boost. It feels lighter, right? It's like, you just have that feeling in your head. Like it feels lighter, and it's good for confidence. And as you pick up fatigue, generally during a workout and during an exercise, you want to start with the hardest. Generally, rules aren't meant to be broken, but you want to start with the hardest and then go to easier exercises or easier weight as you pick up fatigue. This is not a carved in stone rule, but it is a good general guideline. And Mark, at the beginning of the year, you said you were going to sign up for coaching. We're still waiting on you, Mark, right? Still waiting on you. Blaine, people criticize, no. Not all people. Just the same people that fear it over and over and over again that don't really. Me and Jeffrey Verity Schofield talked about this yesterday, as a matter of fact. So check out our video yesterday. Anyway, let me backtrack and read the question. People criticize bro splits due to the 1 time a week frequency, but I think you do stimulate more once a week with heavy compounds. Then you also hit them on a deadlift isn't really a leg focused exercise. It's more of a back focused exercise. So I want to clarify that. It doesn't matter. That's what the science says. And Jeffrey Verity Schofield and I talked about this yesterday very briefly. What we have learned from the frequency studies, and this is something I will repeat over and over again, because if you want science-based, you're about to get it. Everybody wants science-based until it goes against their dogma. Everybody wants science-based until it runs over their dogma, right? If you want science-based, you're about to get it. There are 2 aspects to this discussion that are science-based. Number 1, we have history, which shows that regardless of era, regardless of split, lifters are building muscle, okay? So we have history that shows us it really doesn't matter as long as you're training hard, being consistent. But we could say we're modern and we don't trust history. We trust science, right? Okay, good, fair. The frequency studies inherently have built-in bias, okay? Built-in bias. When analyzed, and Dr. Schoenfield echoed this, Paul Carter, everybody's favorite lifter. I'm just being, he's a very divisive lifter. So anyway, Paul Carter echoed this. Brad Schoenfield, Jeffrey Verity Schofield yesterday, myself. Science. Frequency studies we found that the frequency studies inherently contained more weekly volume. There was a bias to them, unbeknownst to the people creating the studies. Basically, when you look at frequency and body part split, when they were doing a frequency study, we found when we did, not me, but they found when they did a meta-analysis that the frequency folks had more weekly volume. What they figured out was that when you took away this bias and had an equal amount of volume, weekly volume, when weekly volume was equated between the frequency guys and the body part split guys, there was no difference between results. That's what the science says, the current science, okay? I'm not trying to pick a hill to die on. I'm just saying if we're going to be science-based, that's what the current science actually says. But for the folks that have made their bed or dug their own grave with a certain frequency being optimal, they don't really want the science on this, right? All of a sudden, the science doesn't count. All of a sudden, science-based isn't scientific. We don't want that science, right? I'm not making this stuff up. I don't care how you train. 70% of my clients train with frequency. usually twice a week, 1.5 to 2 times a week. I don't care how you train. It's more important to train how you excuse me, how you like to train. Sorry. So anyway, to your point, do you think they stimulate more? Not scientifically, but for some people, the application really matters, how you structure a workout. For some people that are biased towards full body, they're going to feel they get more out of full body during the week because they're going to structure it to maximize it. And somebody that likes a body part split, they're going to feel like they're getting more out of a body part split because they're going to maximize it, and it's going to be enjoyable. There's inherent bias in that. So I hope that makes sense. Big Bad Alano, heavy bench one day, heavy dips another, with light work on both days. Or heavy dips and heavy bench the same day. It doesn't matter. There's no magic plan, right? It's all about the weekly overview. There's no right or wrong. It's what works best for you, what feels good for you. And if you do 2 heavier exercises on one day, the secondary one's going to feel a little bit weaker. That's okay, folks. That's okay. We're after hard training. Some people will do 2 heavy exercises on the same day, and they'll be like, well, the second one didn't perform as well as the first one. No shit, guys, because it's the second one and you're fatigued. And we're not chasing numbers. We're chasing hard training. Something is always going to decay in every workout, right? It doesn't matter if you structure it full body. It doesn't matter if you structure a body part split. You're going to have the most energy for that first exercise. So do whichever way feels best for you. Deadlifts hit my whole leg really hard. When you are relatively weak, meaning you have a lot of strength to build yet, and saying you're relatively weak is not an insult, okay? You're going to notice that certain exercises really hit certain muscle groups hard. So the deadlift is a big yoke and upper back builder. But if your legs are relatively weak, you're going to feel it in your legs. That's not uncommon. And again, that's not a dig at all. Nia Scafawafani. Steve, welcome to Massive Iron World. Do you like the current direction YouTube Fitness is going? This year, basically, I stopped following 90% of the fitness channels I was following. I don't want their noise. I have nothing against any of these channels. I just don't follow many of them anymore. Very few people I follow. I do see some good stuff out there, as always, and I do see a lot of bad stuff. I see a lot of people focused on taking people away from the basics or the common pillars that lead to success and trying to feed them things that are optional as required. So the problem is when your head is too deep into YouTube Fitness, you wake up and you might have a content idea. Like, I want to teach somebody a bench press protocol. Like, I want to teach somebody my bench press protocol, right? So I'm going to make a video today about this bench press protocol that's been super successful. And then I get up and on my feed, I see some knucklehead trying to tell you it's okay to eat pizza for breakfast. And my brain starts turning, going, you're talking to a culture that is already abusing food. And while somebody that is sane, I don't know, there's so many layers to this. The folks that have a good physique, they aren't eating pizza for breakfast. They could occasionally, but it's not their staple because they're not idiots, right? They want nutrients. They want good nutrition. You're always going to have that one guy that's like, if it fits your macros, I'm going to have pizza for breakfast. You go, man. Amazed. Let's be amazed, okay? You had pizza for breakfast. Bob for president, right? Who gives a fuck? I mean, seriously. You know, look, the reality is 99.9999% of people I know that look good are not eating pizza. I see that fat chick. Are not eating pizza for breakfast, right? So the outlier that's going to drop in the comments, it's just part of the YouTube fitness noise. Like, I eat pizza for breakfast, and look at how big my balls are. I have very robust balls, and I eat pizza for breakfast. Good. You can take your robust balls and go put them in the sunshine and get direct sunlight on your balls, because there's also knuckleheads on YouTube Fitness that teach you your testosterone levels will double if you suntan your balls. Like the whole world, the whole world can be mad when it comes to YouTube Fitness content and producers and commenters. So I don't want to wake up every day and have that noise in my head. I don't. I think it is healthy for each of us, and excuse all the humor I just rambled on about, but I think it is healthy for each of us to keep a limited focus, to keep our mind focused and a lot of the noise out of our brain, right? This is a healthy practice. We only have so much time in the day. And if you're going on social media, filling your brain and your time with just all these constant distractions, it's not a positive thing. It is a negative thing, right? We have only so much time in our day. If you need entertainment, go over to TikTok, do your TikTok entertainment. I have nothing against that. But I'm saying when it comes to our goals, we need to be very focused and not have our time wasted. I don't want to wake up in the morning and have to explain because of some person on YouTube that ate pizza for breakfast. I don't want to have to go on this box, because I'm all fired up now, and say, you know, I've never met anybody with a good body that's eating pizza for breakfast, because usually they give a shit about what they're putting in their body a little bit more than eating pizza for breakfast. But you have big testicles, so go, Bob for president, right? I mean, it's just this. Some of YouTube can be like that, right? Some of it's just people putting out crap, spews for views. You must do this exercise. Here are the 3 secret exercises that the pros don't tell you about. Really? The pros are we've been lifting for 70 years, and the pros have been hiding the 3 secret exercises. Wow, amazing. After 70 years, the pros have been hiding the 3 secret exercises. I must click to see what they are, right? You have nonsense content like that, or people will say you must train this way. This is the only way. You must lift this with this exercise. You can't do this exercise. It's just all bullshit. It is just simply all bullshit. Because when you look at the past 70 years of lifting, you'll understand the bigger picture. That's what we talk about, history-based. Check out my video yesterday. So you have folks like that, and then you have the YouTube commenters. And I'm going to tell you, if you're involved in this, you're part of the worst of the worst. You are. And I'm not sorry. You are. If you're one of those YouTube commenters that wants to be counterculture or counter argument to the point where you set aside all logic, like if you want to be the guy that wants to argue for pizza for breakfast and just set aside all logic, right? Set aside all focus on common sense and general health, and the hill you want to die on is pizza for breakfast, because I can do it, and look at my big, juicy chesticles, right? I ate pizza for breakfast, and I'm going to show you how you. Is that really the hill you want to die on? But it is the hill, like those sorts of comments are the hills that you find people dying on in YouTube comments. And that's just one example, obviously. Like someone will go to war over an exercise that everybody is using successfully, Or we'll get people that'll say, the lat pullover doesn't work or the dumbbell pullover doesn't work your lats. Oh, really? You can take the EMG study, you can turn it sideways, and you know what you can do with it. Because we're smarter than that. We can feel our lats working on a dumbbell pullover. But you're going to have somebody that will die on that hill in the comments. And to your point, I don't want to get up every morning and see the clown circus. You'll have somebody juggling their balls over in the corner, pizza for breakfast, right? And then you'll have somebody will be like, I read some parrot over on the other side of the corner of YouTube Fitness, like, dumbbell pullovers don't work the lats. Like, okay, Bob, you got it all figured out. Thank you. That's a nice hill to die on. I don't want to have to deal with that circus, right? I want to stick with the 98% that we know for certain is going to help you guys see results. And everybody else can go off and do whatever they want. They can juggle their big balls and sun their balls to double their testosterone levels and never do dumbbell pullovers or whatever the hell they want to do, right? It's a circus, and you have to work on filtering your brain, or you have to take filtering that stuff seriously. You have to keep it out. I see some people that just constantly are digesting all this kind of content, and they come to me all the time confused, and I wish I could just say, will you stop fucking looking at all this stupid shit? Could you just pick 2 channels that will focus you and stop looking at all this shit? Please. Because you know what happens? These guys that are digesting all this shit, they'll go over to Sean Nalawani and DM him. What do you think about, like, sunning my balls? Because I heard it doubles my testosterone. You guys think I'm kidding. Somebody mentioned this on Team Massive yesterday. Somewhere, somebody on a podcast said if you sun your balls, it'll double your testosterone levels. So all of a sudden, we're digesting this crap content, which is patently bullshit. We all know it. We don't have to be told. And all of a sudden, somebody's DMing Sean Nalawani, hey, if you sun your balls, does it double your testosterone level? And Sean will say, no, that's stupid. And then they'll come over to me or Jeffrey Verdi Schofield. Hey, Sean Nalawani said, if you sun your balls, it doesn't increase your testosterone levels. What do you say? All right. How's that for a Friday rant? Think lifting culture was better before everything turned into science-based. Look, there was a lot of silly stuff before we had the internet. I've lived all the eras, man. I mean, all you need to do, let's set aside the internet and YouTube Fitness aside. We were talking about this a little bit on Team Massive Iron this morning, teammassiveiron.com. If you go into a commercial gym, and this is not a criticism, if you go into a commercial gym, 95% of those folks don't even have a plan or a solid plan. They aren't even tracking. That's fine. They're exercising. God bless them, right? You exercise, good. That's a good thing. But they don't have a plan. And somebody on Team Massive was mentioning this morning, somebody overheard somebody walk in the gym and look over at their lifting bro and say, hey, bro, what do you want to do today? Right? That's a plan for success, right? That's a plan to build maximal muscle. What do you want to do today? Let's just pull this shit right out of our butthole. Let's just pull this stuff right out of our poop hole. I think I'll do some flying wheelies, and then we'll do some waiter curls because I saw athlete ass, right? 90%, 95% of folks in the gym. And look, they're exercising. That's a good thing. But the thing is, they're going to sit there for 20 to 40 years, and they're never going to make any progress. They're never going to reach their goals. So my point here is that internet or non-internet or whatever area you're in, you walk into any commercial gym now then, 1990 2024, doesn't matter. 90 to 95% are going to be like, hey, Bob, what you want to do today? Hey, right? Let's do some front raises. Let's do some bench presses. We're going to do 8 force reps, and you pull up on you do the barbell row, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the era. 90, 95% of people in gyms are doing this stuff when they had no information and when they had all the information. I'm not going to get into why. You guys can figure that out yourself. You tell me why. I don't know. You live in a world full of information where all you got to do is speak into Googles, ask a question, and you pretty much get the right answer pulled up. Yet people can't figure it out, right? People can't figure it out. Why? I don't know. I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about helping the people that come to me that really legitimately want good results. So, Big Sam. I always get unsure when to stop a mini cut. If I have a flat stomach and no love handles, minimal chest fat. All right, so here's a general guideline, and I'm going to toss out some body fat percentage numbers, and there's a little bit of variance here because we're not trying to create a rule, okay? We're trying to create something reasonable. If you have no man booby fat, this is for men. If you have no love handle fat, if you have no lower belly fat, and you have no lower back fat, you are at 18% or under generally. You're looking pretty good. You're beach ready, at least as beach ready as you can be in 2024. So if you gain 10 pounds from that, if you bulk 10 pounds from that point over a 4 or 5 month training phase, you might gain a little bit, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds of fat. Big deal, right? It's a little bit of water. But we're only like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds of fat away from home base. So it's only going to bump your body fat percentage up a couple, 2, 3 points, right? You're not going to look like sloppy McJoes. You're just going to be a little over. So that's why we like to do the controlled, slow bulks and cuts, right? So you have to get down to the when should you turn a cut around? You should turn it around when you know you can easily gain 10 pounds and not look in the mirror every day and go, well, I look like a slob. Because we do not want to fight that mental battle. When you are unable to gain 10 pounds and mentally every day is like, I feel like a fat slob, I feel like a fat slob, I feel like a fat slob. You don't want that in your head every day. You want in your head, let's go fucking crush our lifting. You want in your head space, you don't want, I feel like a fat slob, I feel like a little fluffy, I feel like a fat slob, I feel a little fluffy. You don't want that in your head space during a bulk. You want, let's fucking go. Let's get into the gym and fuck the weights up. Excuse my language today. Does that make sense? So if in your head space, you're like, I feel like a fat slob, I feel fat, I feel ugly in the mirror, then you should probably cut deeper. So when you do bulk, the only thing you're thinking about is absolutely destroying the bulk and building muscle. Big Blaine. Everyone obsessing over optimizing so they won't miss the 1 or 2%, but won't eat correctly or have consistency. That's just the way it is, right? The way it is. And optimal is a lie. I made a video about this recently. Being at about 80% over a course of 10 years is all you'll ever need, even to reach maximum potential. It's all you really need. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need a perfect exercise selection. You don't need to be perfect on every set. Fat Chick in a Barn, good morning. Put that pizza down. It's not noon yet. You know we love you. Do you do science-based bouncy ball squats? That sounds like something you'd see on OnlyFans. For the science-based OnlyFans people. I nearly said fitness chicks, but then my brain pulled that back a little bit. We reeled that in because nowadays anything goes, right? You have men posting their feet on there for people who have foot fetishes and all kinds of things. Anyway, we don't need to go there. We don't need to go there today on Good Friday. Happy Friday, big hairy ugly dude. For bench, we're doing threes and then dropping another 10% for the 4-set work. Yeah, that's exactly what I did when I was at my strongest. I don't advocate fours or talk about fours, but the way when I give people threes or fours, I want you to understand that's how I trained when I was in my heavy power building, muscle building stage the last 5 years of my lifting. I would go into the gym on bench, for example, and I would work up to something where I would do a heavy single, double, triple, quad, 5, whatever I wanted on that day. However I was feeling it on that day. I might do 4 or 5 by 1 on bench. I might do 365 for max reps on bench. It was usually between 365 to 400, however I felt that day. And then I would drop to 315 and do max safe reps. Then I would drop to 275 and do max safe reps. And then I would drop to 225 and do max safe reps. Now, someone out there is like, the math Nazi is like, that's not 10%. Well, no, it's 10% is a guideline. And I've been lifting for 38 years. I'm not going to micromanage a couple of pounds. I would do whatever, 365 to 405 for max F reps, then 315, then 275, then 225. I wouldn't always go down to 225 because when I was hitting like 27 or whatever reps. I would do that when I felt like it. On squats, I basically did the same thing. I would work up to the heavy squat of the day. Could be a single, could be a double, could be a fiver. And then usually that would be around 455 to 545 would be my top set. Then I would do 405 for max safe reps, 365 for max safe reps, 315 for max safe reps, and then maybe 275 or 225 for max safe reps. 225 was getting a little bit low. There are videos I have on this channel where I would drop to, I think there's 365 for 16, 315 for 20. I would drop down and do that kind of work last. So when you see one of those videos on my channel, that was usually last. That was like set 4 of the protocol, if that makes sense. DN said, this is way at the bottom. So I'm going to scroll to the bottom real quick since we're talking bench. What's your max bench all time? In competition, I hit 388.5, I believe. The video is up here. In the gym, the strongest I got after that competition was I hit a 405 double. And I believe the video is here on this channel. If not, it's unlisted. I used to video everything. That was my bench when, after losing 100 pounds. I have a video, if you search 500 on this channel, I have a video with chains and a slingshot where I did 500 with lockout. I'm going to show you guys what for those of you guys that don't follow me on Instagram, up in the barman, I'm going to show you guys this. I post some videos just from the archives occasionally, and I'll show you this video. This is 515 reverse bands. I don't pretend to be the strongest bencher that ever lived, right? I just show this for reference so you guys know that I'm not lying about my numbers. This is 515 reverse bands and slingshot. I like to work. Why do I do this stuff? I like to work the overload a lot. I like to work the lockout a lot. It was just fun. And after 38 years of lifting, a lot of times I just go in and do what is fun. So, why won't you play? There we go. Didn't know why I wasn't playing. So there's my ugly butt with 315 pounds. I don't know, it's creeping along. It's acting weird for some reason. Why are you doing? I don't know why it's stalling. I apologize. I really don't know why this is happening. It never does this sort of thing. Anyway, you can check out the video on my, there we go. It's moving finally. You can check out the video on my Instagram at Ben the Barman. Is what it is, right? So let's crawl back up to thanks. Let's go max science-based and don't lift at all, because contrary to science, science is about reading books. I don't know. I kind of want to travel the ends of space. I don't really have time for those books. Just joking. What would you like to see more or less of Team Massive in the future? I got some, I've been doing Team Massive, and for those of you guys that aren't a part of it, you can join teammassiveiron.com. We have a really good community. It's actually one of the strongest lifting communities out there. I've poked around at other people's lifting communities. I looked at Brian Shaw's on School, and, Brian Shaw is much bigger than I am, obviously, physically and, social media following. No, duh, right? But the community wasn't very active. It's just not an active community. We have a very active community on Team Massive Iron. I take the community aspect seriously, and I want to refine it a little bit moving forward, so there's not as many spaces and places, and there's more interaction. I want to see members interacting more with other members, or posting questions for other members to discuss, because that's the heart of a community. And right now, Massive Iron doesn't have as much of that as I'd like. And when somebody sees a video or a topic, I'd like them to post it for the community to discuss. And we don't do that as much as I would like. All right, guys, we are about 48 minutes in. I'm going to give away something for free. Every week, somebody that posts before live starts gets a chance to win something free. So who do we want? We're going to go with Blaine today. Blaine, I'm going to hook you up. Head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide in my DM, or email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. Before I continue, guys, just a reminder, a couple of things. Coaching special, $6.99 for a year of coaching. And for those of you guys that aren't familiar, my coaching service is different. I'm with you every single day, 5 days a week. I was voted the top trainer in the world. I didn't try to run for that. It wasn't something I was gunning for. It wasn't something I lobbied for. I didn't even know it was a thing. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I won. So it is what it is, right? But that was by Trainerize, the world's top training app. I beat out 400,000 other coaches. Am I a wizard? I tell you what, I work my ass off for my folks. One of the things that got their attention was that I messaged close to 90,000 messages in the last year to my clients. I'm with you 5 days a week. I'm not going to do weekly check-ins, right? I don't have any issue with other coaches doing that. That's not how I want to coach. I want to be with you every single day in the trenches. What's your weight? What's your workout? What are you doing? What are you doing? I want to be with passionate people that want my eyeballs on things every day. That's the way I coach, and it's not for everybody. But if you want coaching, you can head over there. Just check out the coaching tab. If you want the $6.99 special, search $6.99. It's good through the first. TeamMassiveIron.com. If you need a workout, you can check out there. There's a workout tab. And if you want anything like a phone consultation, you want a custom workout. I just did 2 custom workouts this morning while I was coming through Team Massive Iron stuff. So enough about me. That's how I make a living. And where are we at? Bro Lifter. Hey, how to be a Team Massive? What strength standard? Here's how you become a Team Massive member. Number 1, go over and stand in front of the mirror and do this. Okay? Do that. Right. Go in front of the mirror and do this. If there's fog on the mirror, then you qualify. From there, you go to teammassiveiron.com and you're in. Big Scotty Boyd. Is it worth deleting one rest day to cram another workout in? Yeah, man. I mean, if you're feeling good, let it rip 100%. I would rather cram a workout in than miss one, like mentally. And as long as you're feeling good, I would definitely do it. Big Sam. What is your opinion on the idea of distributing upper back volume throughout the week for shoulder health? This sounds like somebody really was reaching. This is kind of the influencer fitness, overthinking stuff that is toxic. Now, there's always going to be a case where someone needs to do this specifically for an injury. With that said, I've never heard of it in 38 years. I've never heard of anybody having shoulder health issues from doing back work on a bro split. I think, honestly, my gut is this is a nonsense topic. It's a bullshit topic. It's a waste of brain cells and a waste of space. And these are the types of influencers I'm talking about that are disseminating or putting out content that is stealing your time, maybe aiming for your money or whatever. I don't know who did this. Could start a feud. My opinion is that it is way overthinking, useless nonsense. Never heard of it. Nothing to worry about. Why are we solving problems? Why is an influencer out there trying to solve problems that don't? They're creating a problem that doesn't exist. Usually that's good for money. This is a problem that literally doesn't exist. Okay? Like you will have, everybody's unique. Everybody will have a unique physical issue in training. Maybe you got that little stiff knee like you got from rugby. Someone ganked you up and you got a little crooked knee or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right? Maybe you got smacked in the head by your mama too many times and you can't do squats without getting an exertion headache because you were a little bitch when you were a kid and your mama used to bitch slap your ass for being stupid. Right? So we all got something little. And in those unique situations, excuse my humor, you're going to have to make an adjustment, right? But this is the case of somebody creating problems that don't exist. They're not problem. It's not a problem that exists. They're creating a problem and providing a solution. I'm going to scroll down just for a second. How much does special coaching cost where I can move in with you, live, and train? If you give me $50,000, you can sleep in my gym down here. As long as you don't come upstairs, because I don't want to smell your ass. I'll throw you food downstairs. It'll be good food, right? I don't want you to talk. I don't care what you have to say in real life, right? Here we're talking lifting. But if I had to deal with you every single day, I don't want to hear about your personal problems. I don't want to hear about what your mama said. I don't care if you don't like broccoli. Wash that ass, shut your mouth, and lift. $50,000. That might be too cheap. All right, where are we at? Delfino, a lot of bad humor today, right? I want to run my first marathon while gaining muscle. How to best structure strength training? You're just going to strength train normally, but running a marathon is going to probably in a perfect world, require you to run 3 times a week. Saturday is going to kind of be a longer run day. And if you need some sample running schedules, you can message me, email me, and I'll send you some sample schedules for free. Or I can build you a running schedule if you want, but that would cost you. So you're going to need probably 3 days a week where you're running. Saturday is going to be your longer day. And then like Monday and Wednesday or Monday and Thursday or whatever are going to be your more general training days where you're just putting in the miles. And usually those could be 30 to 40 to 50 to an hour of running. And then the longer day you might work up to over time from an hour to 2 hours or whatever. I'm just speaking generally. So anyway, you're going to have 3 running days a week. You can still lift 3 to 4 days a week. But if you're training hardcore for a marathon, it's probably best to not overextend yourself and lift 3 days a week, maybe 4 days a week. Does that make sense? Big Jimmy Cooksworth. My first show in a while. My physique shows it. Time to get back in the wagon. Been a rough year. I'm ready. Good luck, man. I hope it goes well for you and just keep us updated. The big old horned frog. When performing a trap bar squat, how long should you pause at the bottom? You don't really need to pause. You just want to deload or unload the weight, reset the hips, and then once you're ready, you can let it rip again. Big Matt. Is it okay to have a deadlift only day? I feel the deadlift takes a ton of time. Yeah, the deadlift, once you get reasonably strong, will take a lot of time. If it works for your schedule, that's fine. I have a death day where I do deadlifts and squats because I'm knocking out both of them because they take so much time. That's perfectly okay if it fits your schedule. Yeah, you can split a workout if you're crunched for time. Just always remember the mantra always remember that it's about the weekly volume that counts, how much you're doing in a week. That's the key thing. Not when you do it, where you do it, how you do it, not your split, how many times you break things up. It's all about what you do in a week. Anthony, let me get a drink. I'm losing my voice. You know what? They didn't have 2 of these. It never fails. You go to Speedway, they never have enough purple monsters. Dr. Mike Israetel said that 3 hours a week of working out is basically a minimalistic workout. Mike, sit down, Mike. We're going to have a talk. You can share this with him, but he won't. I don't know. He might agree. He might disagree. The average person that has school or a wife that's not sitting around blowing bongs all day, Mike, whatever it is you're doing, you dope smoking moron. That's humor, folks. Humor. I don't care what he does. Seriously, though, the average person that is sitting around, with school demands and wife demands and job demands and kids and stuff like that, 3 hours a week is going to get you a lot done over the course of 10 years. Will it leave room for you to train forearms every 3 days and neck and tibias and calves and 800 sets for abs? No. But you can get a lot done. I have clients getting a lot done on 3-4 days a week of training, 3-4 hours a week. Don't be confused, guys. Just set that aside. I think it was the band The Replacements that had the lyrics "Dope Smoke" and "Moron." I could be wrong. Somebody can Google it. See if it was The Replacements, "Dope Smoke" and "Moron," or the Descendants. I don't know. So I was actually singing a song. I wasn't calling Dr. Mike a moron, but I know he does hit it a little bit. Just humor, folks. Not trying to feud with anybody. Can 5, 10, 10, 20 for bench be applied to other lifts? You could probably try it on overheads. I mean, for squats, I would do 4, 8, 8, 12. 20 just becomes a little bit hard. Deadlifts, no, I'd never do it. I'd stick to the 10-minute protocol on deads. In overheads, I'd probably do 4, 8, 8, 12. Thank you, sir, for the donation. What are your thoughts on palms up pull downs? Men, sir, believed it to be the best exercise for the biceps. Now, I will say best, anybody that says there is a best exercise for biceps, they need to move to the back of the line. Okay? Because we need to have a talk with them in Principal Steve's office. Mike, you're going to come into the office and we're going to have a talk. I understand you're no longer with us, but we're going to have a talk anyway. Me and you from across the ages, we're going to have a talk. Mike, the word best doesn't exist. Best is a combination of exercises. There is no one best exercise for everyone. There is exercises that you like or you feel are at the top, maybe 5. That's fair. Do I feel this is a top tier biceps exercise? No. Do I feel it is a good exercise? Yes. Do I use it myself? Quite often. You take a lat pull down, you do a reverse grip. Instead of focusing on driving the elbow down, you focus on curling it down with those big, fat, juicy bicepticons. Okay? I like it. I feel a better exercise is if you sit in the seated cable row station with an easy bar and you curly whirly. Okay? I like to curl, and at the end, I like to rotate the elbows up and try to punch myself in the face, because at the end, if you rotate the elbows up, you can get a much better contraction at the end. So I feel that's a better exercise, even though I like the reverse grip, biceps-focused pull-down. But it is not the best. Best is a combination of quality exercises for any muscle group. Does that make sense? Big Sam. I've tried full body workouts, but my issue is time. By the time I get to isolation work, I'm dead. That's very common because there's nothing inherently wrong with a full body workout. It's just going to take a lot of time. Is that split overhyped a bit too much? Yes, absolutely it is. Because I find as a coach, in all the years of coaching and all the people I've coached, and I've coached over 1,000, I don't know a specific number, but it's well over 1,000 people. That's not even including the people in person. The number of people that want a full body workout from me has been probably 20 out of over 1,000. That doesn't mean full body workouts don't work, and that doesn't mean full body workouts won't work, and that doesn't mean you should avoid full body workouts. It just simply means the majority of you prefer upper, lower, upper posterior, push-pull legs, torso limbs, push-pull legs, or body part splits. That's just what it is. That's not my opinion. That's what you guys prefer. Probably like 98% of you prefer those types of workouts over full body workouts. That's not an opinion. That is data from somebody that has coached at least 1,000 people. If I get somebody that wants a full body, they are the 1 in 100 or 1 in 50. So in that sense, they are overhyped because most people don't prefer them. I recently tried full body workout for 5 straight days. In the massive iron world, we call that the drunk Russian. I have a drunk Russian program that won't keep you in the gym 2 to 2.5 hours a day. You can check out my website, superlivingtoday.com, and search drunk Russian, or search this channel for free for the program Drunk Russian. I did a program like this in 2008, 2009. where I did full body 5 days a week, but I only did 1 to 2 sets per day per body part, usually about 2 sets. So the weekly volume was about the same. Big Sam, I have tried a full body. I already got that. Big Horny Frog. I recently tried a full body workout for we did that already. Duplicate, sorry. So I'm taking it as you think it's valid and even beneficial for me to do that change. Yeah, you don't have to over set up. You just need to be tight and controlled. You just want your bench form to feel natural so you can focus on the bench reps and not your form. Does that make sense? The purpose of hypertrophy benching is not to focus on form. It's to focus on what it's doing to the body. I'm not telling you to be lazy. I'm not telling you to be loose. I'm not telling you to be sloppy. Control. Press. Control. Tight. Press. Control and tightness. Amir. How to explain some of these guys who quarter up everything with not going even a lot of weight. I don't see these people. Okay, these people don't exist. I've been doing this for 38 years, and I'm not trying to be argumentative, but this is not. I hear these types of things. These people don't exist. They're not people out there quarter repping everything with lightweight that are big. They don't exist. I've never seen one. I'm not trying to be argumentative. I've never seen one. Never. How about Jasmine Paris, the first female to finish the Barkley? Thank you for all your coaching weekly. Thank you. Amazing. If you guys don't know about the Barkley marathons, it is probably the hardest or one of the hardest trail runs in the world. Basically, you have 5 loops to do. And there's no course map. There's no trail. You have to find books in the wilderness. There's no sleep. You just have to do them all back to back to back in like 60 hours. I attempted the Barkley 50. My wife attempted the Barkley 50. My wife nearly finished, and she would have. But it rained all day that day. All day, and the Barkley's hard enough. But she had to like Ratchaw, the hill with all the mud. There was like 200 people trying to climb up that rope in a mudslide. And that took her, I don't know how long, hour and a half just to get up that hill. You know, my wife would have finished, and that's amazing to me. Not the Barkley marathons, the Barkley 50K. Me, because I'm slow, I got kicked off after like 10K. I didn't make the cutoff. So, but just an amazing thing. Big Paul from Team Massive, good morning. Big Drew. Hey, big hairy ugly dude, when doing overhead dumbbell press, are you supposed to go back down far enough to where you lose tension? No. You never will lose tightness on an overhead press. You bring it down on the front to about here. I like to bring the bar to about chin area and then press back up. When you're at chin area with the bar, you can see my elbow is way below my shoulder. That's where you want to be, elbow below your shoulder, and then press up. BTN press is going to be the same thing. You get it to about lower ear, thumb to about lower ear area. Your elbow is way below your shoulder, and then you can press back up. You don't want to lose tightness. You don't want to deload in the hole. You can on a pin press if you want. Big Alan Wolf. I do Viking press with 3 different hand holds, okay, and Lou laterals. Is that enough? So it is quality. Do I feel it is enough? No. Do I feel it is lacking? Yes. Do I feel it's lacking a dumbbell or a barbell overhead press? Yes. I really do. Now, I don't know your circumstances, if you have injuries, things you're trying to work around, but do I feel that is a complete program? Do I feel that is as good as it should be? No. Do you ever see the lifting as having, do you see the lifting as having an evolving nature, or is it everything in lifting known and people are just muddying the water? This is a good question. So we're at a point in lifting history where we have a robust history of results. We have a robust data pool. Everything you need to know about lifting, you can learn from the last 70 years. That doesn't say we won't have new exercises, new techniques, new things that might be exciting. I try to create new things. Bulldozer rest pause. It's not new in that no one's ever done a rest pause, but it is my system, right? We're always going to have new-ish stuff, but it's never really going to be too far from off existing stuff. So if you look at the last 70 years of history, and this is what my new book, Massive, is going to talk about in one of the chapters. We know the common pillars of success. You would never need to go forward in the future to find anything to get as big and as strong as you want. You can just look at the last 7 years of lifting. What are the commonalities? It's not high volume. It's not low volume. What's the moderate or average volume? It's not radical exercises. It's not a single exercise. It's a good grouping of exercises, right? Is it training to failure? Is it training close to failure? Is it da? It's hard training. And hard training, pushing sets with a mental drive. You're going to get plus ones. You're going to train some sets deeper. You're going to get closer to failure. This whole, I should only do 2 to 3 RIR and I can get as big as a big fat monster doing only 2 to 3 RIR, right? All these people making these stupid ass arbitrary rules. For why? You want to prove to the world you can only do 3 RIR and build muscle? Go ahead. How are you going to do that? You can't literally do that over the course of a training life. Because sooner or later, you're going to have to push for progressive overload. And that 3 RIR is going to accidentally become 1 RIR. Like a fucking pirate right now. All this stuff is just mental masturbation. It's pseudo-intellectualism. There are some discussions that are valid, but it's like the guy eating pizza for breakfast. I'm going to show you that if I only do 4 RIR, I'm going to get a... Like, eventually, if you're going to hit a point where that's going to have to be a 3 because you're going to have to push for that extra rep, or 2 accidentally, right? It's all mental masturbation. But are we going to see some new we'll see new stuff that's derivative stuff. We'll see some exercise variations that people didn't think about. Like the Romanian deadlift is normal nowadays, but it wasn't 30 years ago. It was only the stiff leg deadlift. So we'll see some minor changes, but do you need either of them? No. Big JJ. Listening while working out, forgot it was Friday. Thanks for tuning in, man. Fat Chicken Bar, put the pizza back in the refrigerator. Ain't nobody got time for pizza for breakfast. That's stuff you do in college, man. Like when you wake up Saturday morning, Sunday morning, you got a hangover. You're all drunk, got pizza the night before. Somebody passed out before they ate the last 3-4 bits, or you ordered way too much, or you got really slobber knockered and you ordered way too much pizza. And it's sitting there on the table or in the refrigerator, and you have it for breakfast. Hey, that's good stuff, man. That's top quality living in my book, but it's not when you want a good physique, right? All I'm saying is Nobody I've ever met with a good physique is like, I'm going to have pizza for breakfast. So you're saying that pizza doesn't grow your balls. Anabolic. Guns at Cafe, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for tolerating all my bad humor today. No question, but I'm goddamn excited to be your client in 2 weeks. Thank you. I appreciate that. And we're going to get a lot done. What if it's a cauliflower crust pizza with chicken and spinach topping? All right, we'll give you a pass. If you want to eat that for breakfast, you can, but you'll be ripping some juicy farts the rest of the day. I wouldn't want to be in your downstream, you know what I'm saying? Dumbbells and donuts. I'm a current client. I wish I had done it sooner. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Slingshot for bench. I like it. I really do. You can use it every week. You can do it every other week. Every other week or every week. I don't use it anymore. And not for any other reason than I used it for like 12 straight years. And at some point you want kind of a new challenge. So I thought I'd try benching without it. Hey, what would you recommend to people with limited shoulder mobility who cannot lift overhead? Well, all I can recommend for any physical limitation is you have to find the exercises you can do, okay? And you need to work them hard. That's the only solution. You find the exercises you can do and you work them hard. Soy sauce, banana ner. Have you ever hurt your back or pulled your neck from shrugs? Not from shrugs, from other lifts, yes. I have clients that have, yeah, that's not abnormal. Strains are just part of the process, and I'm not diminishing your pain, my friend. Are you saying barbell squats on a Basu ball are not effective? I am saying, I got an itchy nose. They're not effective. That's what I am saying. That's a pretty good Cajun accent. I don't know. I was just pulling it out of my back end. So thank you for the donation. What would you recommend to people with, sorry, we just covered that. Fine. If you need some exercise selection ideas, let me know. I'd be glad to give you some ideas, but you need to focus on like bulldozer laterals, like regular laterals, like high pulls. I have some clients with shoulder issues that seem to do okay with the football bar or Swiss bar overhead press. Sometimes I have clients that can't do a seated dumbbell overhead, but they can do an Arnold press. Sometimes they can do a landmine shoulder press. It really depends on the individual. So you want to find the exercises you can do and work them as hard as possible. Do you have any experience coaching lifters with a 5-day bench no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it. I don't want to overwork that movement pattern. Beyond that, I don't think it's the best way to build a bench. You know, you're going to need to attack variations, guillotine bench, dumbbell bench. You might say, I could do one every day of the week. You could if you reduce volume to about 2. I just don't think it's the best way to build a big bench. Your bench looks pretty good, and it's going to move pretty slow here on out. I don't know anything about you, but I like puzzles like this. I like to go in and see what you're doing, try new things. I mean, if you're interested in help or a custom workout or just to try something new, let me know. Fit Feed Barat. Sir, can a male reach 200 kilogram bench naturally? Yeah, they can, but it's super, super, super rare. Super rare. Elite of the elite. A lot of these guys are just absolutely built for it. Most I ever got is about 405 for a double. That was up to 38 years of hard work, man. I'm no great all-time bencher. That's the most I could get out of it after all my work. And that was at 242 pounds. Some of the guys in the past, like Marvin Eder and Reg Park were around there more, doing more. It can be done, but you got to understand that, like, the more extreme the goal, the more you're talking a handful of people worldwide, whatever it is. Big Sam. You have respectable channels like Dr. Mike Israel saying that you don't need to do overhead press, yet you swear by them. Yes, it is needed. That's a foolish thing. It's a basic movement pattern. Look, if you guys want to seek trying to get big without a basic movement pattern, there's really not a lot else for shoulders. What are you going to do? Side lateral raises? There's no progression opportunity on side laterals. I do side laterals every week, but you cannot build big delts with only side lateral raises because there's a limited progression opportunity. What else are you going to do if you don't have overhead presses? Honestly, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You want my honest opinion? That's some of the worst advice I've ever heard. It's awful advice, especially for the natural lifter. Big Bad Sam. It's awful advice. It is. It's awful advice. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm too old. I don't care anymore. I don't know what Dr. Mike said. I don't know if that's in context or not, but the advice itself is awful. It's awful. It's bottom of the barrel awful. If you want to increase your bench, no, it's not needed. I mean, the biggest key going from 275 to 315, if you have established that you can get to a 275 bench, you can get to a 315 bench, unless something happens like an injury. You really don't need to do anything different other than to be patient, because that curve drops off dramatically. You could go to 275 in 2 years, and it might take you 6 years to hit 315. We need to understand that once you get to the 90%, the last 10% can be frustratingly tedious. And sometimes there's no way to expedite it. I got to about 365 bench in 1999, which I was 32. And the most I ever benched was 405 for a double. So I put on, 50 pounds in 18 years on my bench? Now, people sometimes will laugh, ha, ha, ha. Because you don't know how to train. I don't know. I do know that once you get to the 90%, the last 10%, you're going to get injured. It's going to be a long road. You need to find a way to stay healthy. You need to find a way to stay consistent. You need to find a way to stay motivated. How many people you know bench 400? I think you guys are having a conversation back and forth between FitFeed and so I'll just skip past that. How much does special? Oh, we did that already. Big Sam. Regarding training back more frequently, referring to Matt Wenning saying that you need almost twice as much pulling. It's way over exaggerated. You don't need that at all. I've heard this many, many times, and that's nonsense. The back is a big beefier muscle group, and it makes sense to do a little bit more back work. But let's understand we only have so much time in the week to train. You got 3-4 days a week to train. Use the massive iron weight. About 12 hard sets for chest, 12 to 15 for back. You piece all that together, and you're going to have 4 hard training days a week that are full. If you want to all of a sudden double your back work, you're going to have to train 5 days a week, and ain't nobody got time for that, right? It's just true because intense back work takes a lot of time. Intense back work is more impactful than chest work, so I completely disagree with Matt. Not only from a practical standpoint, because back work is generally more impactful inherently. Number 2, it's just way overblown. And number 3, from a practical standpoint of time in gym, nobody has time to do that except freaks. So no, I don't agree with it at all. It's completely unnecessary. Thanks for replying to me on Insta. Gonna do 5, 10, 20. You bet. The 5, 10, 10, 20 is a really good program, so good luck. We got about 15 questions left, guys, so post them up and I'll get to them all. Saw someone about my shoulder issues. She said it was bicep tendonitis, likely. That's not going to lower, it's not going to get rid of, is it elbow tendonitis or bicep tendonitis? Lowering weight will only temporarily fix the issue or produce less stress. It's generally not going to cure it. So just hit me up on Team Massive. I want to know if it's inner elbow tendonitis, or if it's some other form. I thought when you showed me the area was inner elbow. You're saying bicep, but I thought it was inner elbow. So circle the area and send it to me. If it's inner elbow, it's elbow tendonitis. She's just calling it a different thing, or he. What are your thoughts? I don't know, man. I don't really want to get into it. You know, the thing is, like, when you see these coaches like Dr. Mike or Matt Wenning or Jeff Nipples, come on, it's just funny. Well, maybe not. Dr. Mike, Paul Carter. I know in the real world we probably agree on 95% of things for the average lifter. There are little things we don't disagree on, or we don't agree on, like dumbbell pullovers. I'm over it, to be honest with you. I don't care what anybody else thinks. You guys can figure it out. I'm going to lead you on the straight and narrow. I'm not trying to create new stuff. I'm going to show you what the majority of lifters did over the last 70 years. And you can get on the bus, and we're going to Gloryville. We're going to Gainesville. We're not going to debate and discuss what the best exercise is, because that's a stupid concept. Best is a quality grouping of exercises. Amen. Can I hear an amen on Good Friday? Brothers and sisters of iron at the Iron Church. The best exercise is a grouping of exercises. It's not a single exercise. Can I get an amen? Brothers and sisters of iron at the Church of Iron. There's been a lot of lifters that have used the dumbbell pullover for their back. Can I get an amen? We do not need a savior. We just need history. And we need to take the things we learn and apply them in the gym. And if they don't work for you, move on. Right? I'm over all these little feuds. I really, really am. I'm putting out my book. I'm focused on helping you guys. Everybody else, you know, you guys at the end of the day are going to have to decide who you're going to follow, which team you're going to be on. And you're going to have to decide what things they teach are wacky. Anything. Here's the gospel of massive iron. I'm not trying to be religious, But here's the gospel of massive iron. If somebody, and I want you to hear this and I want you to remember it because it's one of the most important things you will take home from this video today. When someone makes a statement out there in the influencer world, a statement about a lift, a split, bro splits, dumbbell pullovers, whatever, they make a declaration like it's a commandment. Thou shall not dumbbell pull over. It doesn't hit your lats. Thou shall not do bro splits. I want you to remember something. It's all bullshit. Because if you look at the history, that's not my opinion. History does not have an opinion. History is history. Someone says dumbbell pullovers don't work the back. EMG study. My honest opinion, fuck your EMG study. Because I have a history of lifters that like it, use it, and continue to use it. And it works. Not my opinion. You're not here for my opinion. You're here for, I'm here to help you focus on history. Do you have to use a dumbbell pullover? No. Is it a viable exercise? Well, let's look at history, not an opinion of one man on an island. One man on an island spitting into the wind, and his spit is hitting himself in the face. When you see that, that's a red flag. You ask yourself, and this is the most important point of this video, and this is the heart and soul of everything I teach. When there's a man screaming at the top of a skyscraper or a mountain, and his spit's coming back in his face, saying, no, low volume is the only way. High volume is the only way. Dumbbell pullovers don't work upper back. And you get confused because you're like, the rest of the universe is doing this, but they say no. You better not bench. It's not a good exercise for your chest. The rest of the universe is benching. Arnold benched, Ronnie benched, Reg Park benched, Marvin Eder benched. They all benched. But this person's come to save us. That's not a lifting guru. That's a cultist. My opinion. That is not a lifting guru. That is a cultist trying to save us from their pet sin. Does that make sense? Now, you don't have to do a body part split. You don't have to bench press. That's the beautiful thing that history teaches us. Nothing is mandatory as long as the big picture makes sense. It's art. It's artwork. What does the painting look like? Is it a beautiful big picture? Doesn't need to have bench. Doesn't need to be dumbbell pullovers. Doesn't need to be body part splits. Doesn't need to be frequency. Doesn't need to be rest pause. Doesn't need to be drop sets. It just needs to make sense. And when someone pulls out one piece and elevates it into the ultimate rule, and it goes against everything that we've seen in history, you better be willing to die on that hill with him. My opinion, you need to run the opposite direction. Hey, Joe, how's it going? How would you recommend lifting or fitting cardio in upper lower split? I went over this a little bit earlier regarding somebody that wanted to do a marathon. But basically, stupid simple. You want to do at minimum 2 days a week. 3 days a week is a little bit more optimal, especially if you want to get serious about it. Usually I try to do my longer day or more intense day on a Saturday and get a couple, Monday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, and during the week. And this should work fine with 3 or 4 day a week training. You just don't want to do it before lifting. Lifting is your priority. You can do it after lifting. You can do it first thing in the morning. You can do it the next day. You can do it on off days. Does that make sense? Fat Chick in the Barn. I was actually giving the Drunk Russian a shot, actually. Yeah, I don't mind it as long as you have a good exercise selection. It's a decent program. Big JJ. Is it a good idea to do my bicep curls in between 2 push exercises? No. Don't like that at all. Because the biceps will impact your ability to perform those push exercises. When I was doing seated pin press this week, I had a wicked bicep pump. You don't want to weaken a smaller muscle group. You want to get the big ones done. I would never do that, no. Is BTN press supposed to be seated? It doesn't have to be at a 90 degree. You can be back a little bit because like upright, you might feel too forward or weight might feel a little bit forward. So you want it to feel natural. I would always have the back angle, not upright, but just a hair back. I would definitely consider doing it seated. Big thanks for all your lifting tips. Thank you. I appreciate that. Big Marvin. Happy Good Friday. So I caught a cold. That's not allowed. That wasn't on the schedule, Marvin. Still wanting to get workouts in. Be careful, my friend. My main concern is that you're going to drive your immune system down and something else that's in your system could find a way in. And I don't want that for you. You're a big boy, and I mean that in a polite way. You can do what you want. There are some times when I feel good enough to lift. I would maybe drop sets to 2 per exercise and just be smart and safe. But it's okay to rest, guys. How does Jack Sparrow gauge his exercise intensity? RIR. Okay. Dad joke. Thank you. Mark Siegel, M. More pizza, more gains. Generally, yes. But it's got to be for dinner, not for breakfast. Rafael D'Souza, who makes the best pizza for science? There's 3 pizzas in my life that I adore. Number 1 is Marco's Pizza. Of all the pizza I've had, Marco's Pizza Marco's Pizza right up there. That's my go-to. In Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, we have Joe's Fox Hut Pizza, the best in the world. Joe's Fox Hut Pizza. And what's the other one in Fond du Lac? The takeout stuff. You take it and bake it. Hold on. We used to do this all the time. What was the take and bake? Eaton's Fresh Pizza. Eaton's and Joe's Fox Hut. If you're ever in Fond du Lac, there you go. You're good. Thoughts on the carnivore diet or meat fruit diet? I do a lot of meat and fruit. And then I mix in some ricey and some taters. But most of my diet's meat and fruit and eggs. I like meat, fruit. I like meat and plant-based. I like animal and plant-based. Any variation of that is fine as long as you're getting in your micronutrients. I have no issues with it. I don't find any negative issues eating that way. I'm not carnivore, but I do heavily rely on fruit. Do stomach vacuums do anything? That is a question, isn't it? It's a heated discussion. I always, on this channel, I'm never going to try to speak from a place of I'm not going to try to frame myself as an expert on something I don't do. I don't do them. I have no interest in doing them. If you're lean and mean and you want to work on them, by all means, give it a try. Personal experience. Does it provide value for you? Would you recommend bulldozer laterals? Yeah. Both is probably good, but it's definitely a good replacement. And if you guys don't know what a bulldozer lateral is, you can head over to the main page of my YouTube and search bulldozer lateral. It's a variation I created. It's a little bit more leverage friendly. You guys are kicking ass today with the questions. Thank you so much. A lot of great questions, a lot of great content. Would working one body part once per week work if you're doing 10 sets per group? Yeah, 10 to 12 is 9 to 12, 10 to 12 for major muscle groups is where I like to be. Major muscle groups, chesticles. I just took the opportunity to squeeze my own chest. Don't be alarmed. My body. Chest, delts, back, quads. 9 to 12 per week is a good starting point. And then the minor muscle groups you can fill in. Anthony. Steve, let's say I want to focus on getting my overhead press up this year. How could I use your help on Team Massive? Okay, so you're wondering how you can get help on Team Massive since it's not direct coaching. Number one, you can DM me at any time. Hey, man, how's my programming look? Now, I'm not going to build you a program, but I'm going to say, hey, you're going to have direct access to me 24/7. Well, I do sleep. You can put your form up videos. You can do 4 form videos a week on Team Massive. And I'll say, hey, you got to fix this, do that, maybe try this. You can ask me questions anytime in the Ask BHUD section. And you get motivation and accountability. There are some guys that constantly hit me up for motivation and accountability, some that don't. But it's like coaching a la carte when you need it. New research on Tiki-Taki says that 100 sets per muscle group per week is the most optimal. I'm trying to think how much time that would take. So like if you do 12, 12, 12, 12 for major muscle groups, you're going to be in the gym about 5 hours a week, give or take. So you multiply that by 8.5, you're going to be in the gym close to 45 hours a week. Seems legit. Bicepticons. Is using percentages pointless? It is for the average lifter. Like anything, any tool can be utilized properly. Okay, let's get that straight. I'm not calling it pointless as a blanket condemnation, but the only time percentages are used in my world is when we're trying to establish an initial weight for a protocol or we're doing a peak for a powerlifting meet or a 1 rep max attempt. Other than that, it's a lot of it can be smoke and mirrors. Hey, tennis elbow after biceps training, how to get rid of it? You need to use grip support like VersaGrip Pros. You have an overuse gripping injury, and on your back work, your traps, your RDLs, your deadlifts, you need to use grip support. That's the best way to help it. We got a bunch of amens, amens, amens. Thank you. What skull crusher variation should I try for reducing elbow pain? None. Let me backtrack. Elbow inflammation is normal from triceps exercises. Usually the muscles are so strong compared to the connective tissue and stuff involved in the triceps. So if you have an exercise that's irritating your triceps or elbows, you probably need to not do that exercise because you don't want to aggravate your elbows. That's why I said none. Most important vector is work ethic and dedication, passion and hard training, and consistency and nutrition. Anthony, Sometimes I find it hard to get myself to do a workout. That's normal, man. Sometimes I find it hard to get out of bed in the morning. Sometimes I find it hard to brush my tooth. Sometimes I find it hard to deal with people in public. Sometimes I find it hard to get myself to do a workout when I had an argument with my partner. And there is still some negative. That's normal, man. It's just normal being a human. You're not a bad person. That's not abnormal. You need to do a Stuart Smalley thing or whatever. Look in the mirror. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. I'm strong enough. Gosh darn it, people like me. People really like me a lot. No, they don't. I can lie to myself a little bit. But look, there are a lot of things we don't want to do when we're having a stressful day or a fight or whatever. Take care of yourself. Long-term view, take care of yourself. I do not know the situation with your partner, and I am not trying to be negative, but I'm trying to be a realist here. So hear me, brothers and sisters, on this Good Friday. Can I get an amen? Life is a long journey, and probably 95% of your partners won't be there at the end. There'll be somebody else, somebody new, something didn't work out. Just the way life is. You drive a lot of roads before you find the one you want to park your camper on. Right? Amen, right? It's just life, man. It's just normal, you know. But if anybody pisses you off, or you have a fight, or you're depressed, or whatever, still take care of yourself. Do not let them control you emotionally. Yes, I'm down, I'm depressed, I'm hurt, I'm confused, all these kinds of things. But you are not going to control how much I take care of myself. But I'm going to put it even on a stupid, simple level. Somebody ticks you off, you're having a hard time, you're having a fight. You're going to not brush your teeth? No, you're going to brush your teeth. Nobody wants to smell your nasty-ass breath. You better floss those things while you're at it. Get that junk out of between your teeth so it's not rotten. You smell like Gank Tooth McJones. Y'all better be flossing your damn teeth. But you don't stop doing that. You don't stop washing your ass. But when it comes to exercise and food choices, all of a sudden it's like, I'm not going to exercise. Exercise is some of the best therapy, and you need to remind yourself of it. You're going to feel like absolute monkey shit, horse shit, rhino shit, cat shit, bat shit. That first set, you ain't going to want to drive to the gym. You ain't going to want to see everybody there looking all in their pretty ass gym clothes, looking sparkly, smelling clean and fresh, except for that one guy in the corner. You know, walk in there, everybody's so damn positive and looking good and smelling good. In the gym, even the fat people look good. They got on their best gym wear. Even they look good in the gym. Just humor. You ain't gonna walk it. You don't want to walk in the gym. Everybody's gonna look positive. The hardest part's getting there. Once you get that first set done, you get that workout done, you're gonna feel better. You will. And there's a chance, because you put some space or distance between yourself and that partner and that issue, and you did something positive, that you're going to walk out and you're going to say, that was really trivial, or I was a selfish asshole, or this relationship means too much to me to die on this hill. You're going to have a greater degree of clarity one way or the other. You're going to realize you were wrong, or it was a much smaller issue than you thought, or you're going to feel more positive. It's going to be uplifting. It's going to help you see more clearly. That's what lifting does and exercise does. Maybe you're grinding out intraset and you're having like an epiphany. My partner is not right for me. We're just different. They're not a bad person. They're not right for me. Or maybe you find a solution to the issue. Just fight. Life is about fighting. You quit, you're dead. You quit, you're dead. You quit, you're dead. You quit, you're dead. So I know you don't want to work out. Just get in there. You're going to feel better when it's done one way or the other. You're going to think more clearly. You're going to think more focused. Everything's going to be okay. Will you be doing more interview style videos? Generally not. I've really closed the door on who I speak to. Not for any other reason than I want to focus on writing my book. Those studies are often corrupted by new lifters. When starting an aggressive cut, isn't it better, got to be careful using the word better, to drop to the lowest calories right away? No, it's not always better. I mean, here's the reason why. The first few days of a cut are like, please, baby Jesus, help me, right? Or Buddha or Kram or whatever you got going on. Or an equal opportunity prayer. When starting an aggressive cut, no. The hardest part is getting in the groove the first few number of days. So the only people I recommend starting an aggressive cut are those that really, really, really do well. Just jumping in the pool. For the rest of us, let's ease in. Let's get our feet under us, and then let's do what we do. How fast do your merchandise usually ship? Quick. Usually it ships within 1 to 3 days at tops, depending on when it comes in or when the order is received. If you order today, no, you're not going to have it tomorrow. I don't even know where you live. It ships out of the UK, like London area, and in the US, there's a couple different distribution centers. But some days, the quickest you're probably going to get is 2 days. And then some days it takes 4 days. Can I use DDP for every lift? If you like changing weight, you can. That's just basically you change weight and every set has its own progression indicator. Thoughts on the Arnold split? It's all right, man. Any split is okay when it's structured properly with exercises that work for you. I do hard training one time when I get C virus and after I get sick for 2 weeks. You ever have one of those Fridays where somebody hits you with the hard training and you don't know if they mean trend? It's kind of funny, or training. You know if it's training or trend. I'm pretty sure. I do hard training one time and I get a virus. Sometimes when you go into the gym and you haven't trained in a while, or you do a particularly hard workout, it can drop. You can wake up and you can be under recovery and your immune system can be a little bit down. It can open the door for you to get sick. This is not uncomfortable. It's happened to me several times over the years. Anthony, if I stand correct, we haven't seen a bulking video from this year from you. Could you please do one on meal timing? Remind me on Instagram. I've been the barman. You guys got any really good topics? Let me know on Instagram, and I'll write it down or message me. The nutrition ones are harder because fewer people watch them. So a lot of my content on Instagram tends to be more loose. The dogs are going crazy. I love the bench press, but I never feel my chest. Don't worry about what you feel. Hit your chest with a good selection of exercises, a barbell, a dumbbell, maybe dips, maybe barrel press, maybe a machine, maybe an isolation exercise like cable crossovers, pec deck. Hit it with a good selection of exercises. Control the weight, your chest will grow. We don't want to over worry about feel, but we want to have a good selection of exercises. Bulldozer laterals with cables. Yeah, as long as the cable feel is good, you're good. Yes, I've used German value training, not for extended periods of time. I used it once on squats, and my legs were brutally sore 8 days later, and I said, fuck this. Excuse my language. I just think it's a gimmicky. I put together a program called Massive Volume Training. You can find here, and you can find on my website, superlivingtoday.com. I think it's a little bit gimmicky. I mean, it's a little too few exercises. It's a little too brutal. I don't think it's a be-all, end-all for hypertrophy. I really don't. Amen. Thank you. How can I get to the 3-4-5 plate squat bench? You can hire me as a coach. That's the best way. We're going to get it done. Let's go. Superlivingtoday.com, search coaching. Do I just keep eating and training? Yep. You got to do some very specific bulk cycles where you're gaining about 10, 15 pounds over 4 to 6 months, and you do a cut and you stay at it, and you use a WISE program found here at Massive Iron. Is 48 hard sets a week and a calorie surplus? Is it enough? It is reasonable. That is about 18 hard sets. 16 to 18 hard sets is about one hard training day, okay? So he's looking at about 3 hard training days a week. Yes, that's going to be good work if you focus it. You're going to get a lot of mileage out of it. Drew. My question on how far to come down an overhead press, is it the same for dumbbell? Yeah, it's just natural. If you're like somebody like this that's only coming down to here on the dumbbell press, you need to change that a little bit. Is it bad to have a negative internal monologue to feel discipline? I am no psychologist and no psychiatrist, but I will shit talk myself till my balls turn blue and they fall off. You lazy piece of shit. Fuck you, you lazy fucking bastard. Like anytime you guys see me go off on social media, it's me going off on me. I do not give a fuck how you feel. I'm talking to myself. Yeah, I think it can be a positive thing. I will not allow excuses to enter. I fight them. I try not to let them enter. I fight them. As long as it's not abusive. Crazy. What should I do to defeat stall? Stalling doesn't really exist. Slowing does. If you truly hit a stall, it's usually inconsistent training or inconsistent nutrition. And if you're using a novice program, there should be no stalling. Usually that's inconsistent effort or inconsistent nutrition. I don't know you, so I'm not making a blanket statement, but I would need to know more. I can rep 70 kgs for 8. We need to know more. How's your weight going? I need to look at the consistency of your workout. A lot of times guys are making progress. It's just slower than they want, but it's still great progress. You could be on the path to gaining 80 pounds on your bench press, and you could consider it slow because you expect more. That's very common. How do you see my return to lifting if I have to get my disc surgery? I don't know, man. Everybody's different, and every surgery is different. You're going to take off the time you take off from your doc. And then you're going to have that feeler time for about a month where we're trying to feel what exercise we can do now. And we're going to slowly ramp back into it. And then we're going to start running in the areas we can run. Heavy RDLs and rows enough to build my traps. No, you're going to have overhead presses, which are going to be a vital part of the equation. And if you're really serious about traps, you need some form of shrugs in the mix. So bench press is stalling, box press is rising. Stalling or slowing? We need more information, my friend. What do you think about submaximal training? Man, I don't like submaximal anything. I don't like submaximal eating. I don't like submaximal sex. I don't like submaximal beer drinking. I don't like submaximal cigar smoking. I don't like any of it. Context is everything, but I'm not in the gym to be submaximal. I'm in the gym to maximize. Okay, hear me out. Upper lower is out. Should we start a right side left? No. No, ain't nobody got time for that. Too much unilateral stuff. Any big plans for Easter? My wife has a photo shoot tomorrow, and I got to do some lawn work. I'm just going to work on my book, and I'm going to be thankful for each and every one of you. Legitimate. How much do you charge for coaching? After the first month, it's $89.40 a month for life. Right now, I have a special $6.99 for a complete year, and you can head over to my website, superlivingtheday.com. Right up here and search $6.99. If you don't want to invest in a year, just search coaching. I'd love to work with you. And where we're at. 3 times a week. I need to know more, man. I appreciate you're tossing out a lot of stuff, but that doesn't tell me what I need to know, and I'd have to see a lot more. Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All right. Are we good? We good? And our last call for questions, guys. Last call for questions. I'm going to do a little bit of spiel and wait for your last questions. Good talk today, guys. Really good stuff. I appreciate everything. And toss out a lot of amens and stuff today. I want to tell you guys I love each and every one of you, wherever you're at, wherever you're from. One of the biggest blessings for me in doing this is I get to meet people from all over the world. Different cultures, different religions. And I know it sounds like a lot of wishy-washy stuff, but I am thankful for it because it is a real-life education. I get to see a lot of the world through your guys' eyes, and I am thankful. So before we go, get your questions in. Superlivingtoday.com. If you want coaching, follow me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. If you need a workout, you can head over to superlivingtoday.com. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Joe. Thoughts on RIR? I don't do RIR. I just don't. We do it a little bit differently in the massive iron world. At least one set for exercise, push for max safe reps. Big Thomas, just take the big man on as a coach. Thank you. You hit different levels you can't see right now. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. All right, guys, I'm going to go let the dogs out because they're upstairs running around like crazy. You guys have an amazing weekend. And please, thank you. I sincerely appreciate that. Please, guys, come back next Monday. I know Israel likes ramping up. We do things, all I'm going to say is his way is his way. My way is my way. You use the system you trust and believe. But I will tell you what, my system is effective. I believe in it, and it won't let you down. Thank you, Stein. All right, you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to watch the Milwaukee Brewers lose to the New York Mets, and we are out of here.
You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.